Hello everyone, welcome to our webinar today, What is Mental Wealth and Why Your Students Need It. Apologies for the slightly late start. There were a few tech issues on our end, but now all resolved. I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Annabelle Molina and I work in the international office. And today we have an excellent presentation from Simone Brown-Grant. She works as a career coach at the University of East London. Before I hand it over to Simone, I'd just like to go through a bit of housekeeping. I know this audience here are all agents and counsellors. If you have at any point any questions, do feel free to ask it during the presentation. I will be managing the chat behind the scenes and I can answer any questions, but also I can allocate some questions at the end to ask Simone live in session. And also I wanted to encourage you to lean into the topic at hand. I know we have a lot of questions regarding the visa process. We have a visa webinar tomorrow morning, which I would encourage all of you to attend if you're keen to know about the visa process for this September intake. But for today, if you can lean into the topic at hand, that would be much appreciated. So I'll hand you over to Simone, who will start the presentation. Thanks, Simone.
Thank you, Annabelle. So good morning, everyone who is in attendance. So welcome to What is Mental Wealth and Why Your Students Need It. What will we cover? So these are some of the questions surrounding mental wealth. So what is mental wealth at UEL, the University of East London? What competencies and skills do employers want? And how do we, as a career service, support students to gain these skills to be job ready? So mental wealth. So mental wealth is quite new to UEL. It was introduced for the 2019-20 academic year. And at the moment, it's for levels 3, 4 and 7. So that's first year, second year, and those studying at postgraduate level. Eventually, it will work into all levels, all degree levels. It's a package of activities and resources to ensure that students are job ready and ready for the world of work on completion of their degree program. So this slide in front of you is the Vision 2028 strategic route map. And what this is various products, or I'd say products, projects, visions for UEL, and that includes mental wealth. Now, some of the mental wealth projects will be embedded into some of these visions. So for example, mental wealth dips into the academic portfolio. Mental wealth dips into career passport. Mental wealth dips into digital first. So this is UEL's vision for 2028 and just working its way through, obviously, from 2 years ago. So mental wealth at UEL, it's a number of coexisting interventions and activities to support students to develop core competencies in their journey to graduate level employment. So it's about life learning and helping students to have successful lives. So here, this is a short video which you can watch in your own time. Annabelle, would you be able to put the link for this into the chat, please? And then what are the competencies and why are they important? So with mental wealth, there's competencies that students need to meet. So we have 9 competencies: emotional intelligence, physical intelligence, cognitive, social, cultural, digital, community, UEL give back, and then industry connections. So all these competencies are embedded into modules alongside the degree program. So here are the competencies in a bit more detail. So UEL, so number 8, UEL give back. So this could be embedded into the degree program by students engaging in a local community project as part of their module. Digital proficiency is so that students have the skills required in the world of work. So that's making sure that students are up to date with packages such as Microsoft, making sure that they have LinkedIn accounts, making sure that students are able to present using digital software. So each of these competencies are for students to be at a level which employers are looking for, and these are then embedded into the modules in which they're studying alongside their degree program. So some of these competencies, so those 9 competencies that you were just shown, they're based on competencies that employers want in graduates, okay? And then we break it down some more. So these are, you know, having conversations and just speaking with recruiters, an organization. What are they actually looking for from students? So they want students to be results driven. They want students to have leadership. They want them to be able to be good networkers, be motivated, creative, having confidence. So these are all the competencies along the way with mental wealth that at the end of it that we want our students to have. So how do the career support team support students, you know, during the mental wealth program? So that's where I come in as a careers coach. So we're supporting our students with the transition to an industry world. And as a careers coach, we support students with the curriculum in various ways. So this here is just an example of the different various degree programs that we have at UEL. So if somebody was doing perhaps psychology, bioscience, or any of our health programs, digital proficiency would be the use of statistics and data analysis skills and software, specifically SPSS and Excel. Then you might have performing arts students who will make use of photo editor software, including Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop. And then there's the industry connections that's part of mental wealth. So this might include engineering and surveyor students who are interning at Crosswell or TFL. So these are just examples of the way that mental wealth can be embedded or is embedded into the curriculum of a student's degree program. So that's me. How do career coaches support students with employability? So we develop what's called student development sessions, or we call them SDS sessions, and they're in curricular employability sessions. So with that, we could deliver sessions on CVs, on interview techniques, on job searching strategies. We have a bespoke service which we offer to academics to support students with employability. We then have our career platform, which I'm going to just demonstrate to you this morning. It's an online platform which is available 24/7, and it's to enable students to access or have access to resources at all times. So as I said, I will demonstrate the different areas that it covers. We also have Career Checkin, which is part of the Career Centre. Now, this is a self-assessment tool that will assess students' confidence and their employability skills and their employability needs. And that's by going through a short sort of questionnaire which will assess their skills and areas that they need to work on. And then we have our career passport. Now this is interactive. And again, I'm going to demonstrate that to you this morning. And it's particularly targeted to students to gain badges and then track their employability and their development. So within those badges, there's 10 areas in which students have to work towards. So Annabelle, if you could just put the link. There's also a video which you can watch in your own time, which is about UEL Career Passport and demonstrates its usefulness and how it can be used. We'll put the link in the chat for you to access that video. But what I'm going to do is demonstrate to you actually how to use, or how students would be able to use, the career passport. So that would, at the end of it, how as career coaches we come in, that would complete the journey once they've completed their degree program, or even if that's at master's level as well. So just going in, hopefully, here we go. So this here is the UEL, the University of East London's Career Centre. So I'll just skip this section. So here you have the front page of it. And what we want to just check is the career check-in. Now, remember I mentioned in the presentation that there was these short questions which will just show areas of strengths and areas of skills in employability. So if I did start now, I would answer this about self-awareness. I know what I'm good at and what I enjoy doing. So if I feel confident, I could say 7. I could go to the extreme and be exceptionally confident, or I could go and say that I'm not at all confident. It's about you being really honest about how you would answer this question. I will just randomly pick some confidence, and then it will take me to another question. I know what motivates me, and sorry, I'll read that again. I know what motivates me, my values, and how I prefer to work. Again, it's up to you how you feel best you would answer. You could go from 10, you could go 5, 1. I will pick, let's go with 5, 6, reasonably confident. So again, you would work through these questions to the very end, and then at the top you will see this green color light up until you've completed answering all the questions. So I'm not going to go through that all with you this morning, but on completion, hopefully if this works, you will then be able to see a report. So this then shows me areas in terms of my employability and my competencies, areas of strength, and areas in which I would need to work in. So for example, my self-awareness is 7, so I'm quite confident. But in terms of mentoring, I'm quite low. That's just a 1.7. Or preparing for work, I'm a 5. So that would be up to me in the areas. I would have to work on all of them. But again, it's just to give you something to think about in areas in which you need to work on in terms of getting yourself ready for the world of work. So that's your career check-in. Now, let's hope this works. So this is the actual career passport. So there are 10 different badges. So imagine this, to make your passport complete, you would have to complete all of these tasks. So within them, there's different activities to do. So I've started doing hunting for jobs and career passport. So if I click in there, you will see that I've done 2 out of the 5 tasks. In terms of completing this badge, I'm nearly 67% complete. I've completed 2 tasks and there's 11 activities completed. Okay, so I'll just show you if I go into this one that I completed. So I just had to go into each of these resources. Whoops. Okay, so I had to read that and then answer questions about what I've just read in order so some of these things are just about reading, some of them are quite interactive as well. So I'll go back. So just to make it clear, part of Career Passport is badges that need to be complete. So students will have 10 badges. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And within each of these badges, there's different activities to do. So if you click on Start, it will take you to the activities that you need to do, and it will show you the tasks that you've completed or activities. And then once you've completed the whole thing, it will show you that this badge is complete. So on each of these badges, you should see 100% completed for 10 badges. And that just is Careers Passport. Quite simple but effective. Again, what we're wanting to do is, I think the first one kind of sums it up. It's about self-awareness, knowing what it is that you may need to work on, knowing where you can go to get that support. So perhaps, you know, your CV, you're finding it quite difficult. You may have gone in here and done some tasks and still find perhaps that your CV isn't getting you to interview. What could you then do? You could then book an appointment to see a careers coach and give you some more guidance of how to structure and tailor your CV to the industry or the job role that you're applying for. So there is quite a lot of information within here, but it is pretty basic, I think, once you get your head around it. And that is part of mental wealth, is doing this career passport section and helping students to leave on graduation with the employability skills that employers are looking for. That completes my presentation, so I'll hand you back over to Annabelle.
Thanks so much, Simone, and thank you for taking us through the Career Passport. Really, really insightful and really helpful. So we have some questions for you. The first one we have from one of our audience who's asked, is the mental wealth program a requirement for graduation, for students to graduate?
It is mandatory in level, as I said at the beginning, for levels 3, 4 and 7. So it's already embedded into their modules.
Fantastic, thanks, Simone. Another question we've had is, as a careers coach, how have you seen students respond to the mental wealth program?
A lot of the students are very engaged. I think particularly areas around things like CVs and preparing themselves for interview and having those skills and knowing that what employers are looking for and how they can in effect sell themselves. So in effect, it has been positive. There has been some areas that it needs some work, but I would say on a whole that students have been taking it quite positively.
Great, thanks, Simone. Another question we've had is, what prompted the university to adopt this approach of including the mental wealth curriculum?
I think the university saw an area in which students felt that, or that even as a university and feedback from students, is being prepared for what employers are actually looking for on complete. When it comes to completing a degree, unfortunately, having a degree sometimes just isn't enough. And what employers are looking for is practical skills. So being able to apply the theory that you've gained from your degree program, but also having that industry sector knowledge and the practical skills that are needed for that world of work. And that's where mental wealth came in, is preparing and the reality of the world of work. And some students, unfortunately, weren't prepared. So this is what mental wealth is making sure that not only have you got a degree, which employers are looking for, but also that you've got the practical skills and the knowledge that is required once you've finished your degree and you graduate.
Great, thank you. And the last question we have is, have you found the mental wealth program, have you found it to give students a better understanding of their strengths? what feedback have you received from students?
If I'm very honest, I haven't had any feedback from students regarding, I would say, mental wealth. I would say it's more the areas that it brings up in them. So for example, knowing how to job search and not knowing how to look into their sector. So I wouldn't say it would be specifically they would come and say mental wealth, but I would say that from their own experiences, they've come back to us, or they'll come and say, well, actually, I feel that I'm not getting any jobs, and I don't know what websites to use. I don't know what to do when I attend careers fairs and things like that. And that's how we come in as career coaches to try and support students with their development.
Thanks, Simone. We just had one more question come in, which asks, how are employers involved in the content of the program? Are employers involved at all?
So employers are involved. We have a team, the employment engagement team, and they do a lot of behind the work or behind the scenes work, engaging with employers. So they're running a lot of employer-led events where employers are coming into the university talking about opportunities. And as career coaches, we work a lot with the employment engagement officers as well, trying to work collaboratively to evidence or to show to students, well, this is the reality, this is what employers are looking for, because we're speaking to them, they're coming into the university. So we have things like employer-led panels, and we've had the civil service come in and give talks. We've had, I think we just did something virtually this week with Siemens. So there's a lot that's going on with employers, and we really do see the positive effects of students being able to have that direct contact with employers, because they can hear and see for themselves what it is employers are looking for, and hopefully prepare themselves for that in the future.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Simone. So that concludes all the questions that we've had in for today. And I just want to thank you very much for such an excellent presentation. And I want to thank our audience for joining us today. We have an afternoon webinar today being led by me, which is in regards to mental wealth gains from your degree at UEL. So please feel free to join that one this afternoon. But for now, it's a goodbye from us, and we hope to have you join us on more of our webinars in the coming weeks. Thank you very much.